So from Scrubs' own Zach Braff during the show's 4th season in 2004, he had a little break and made a little indie movie in New Jersey called Garden State. He wrote, directed and starred in this movie, and I gotta say, this shows that you don't need to be stuck with a big budget and the studio breathing down your throat. It's just a simple, touching little movie. It opens to a homage to the movie The Graduate, with a twist as Andrew Largeman, played by Zach Braff, is on a plane in a dreamlike sequence as the plane goes down and everyone is seen panicking and he just sits there, all chilled out, not facing what's happening. Andrew is in Hollywood and he's trying to make it big, but it's not working out too well for him as he's stuck working at a Vietnamese restaurant. One day, Andrew's father calls him to tell him that his mother has just passed away, which Andrew then leaves LA to go back to his hometown in New Jersey to attend his mother's funeral. At the funeral, he recognises the gravediggers who are some old friends of his, and they invite him to a party that night. Andrew gets to the party and catches up with Mark, Dave and Jesse. Mark and Dave were the gravediggers from before, and Jesse is another old friend who got a small fortune from creating Silent Velcro. At the party, Andrew has weed and ecstasy after refusing cocaine. He then remains detached throughout the rest of the party. The next morning he wakes up on the couch and sees a guy dressed up as a knight, Jim Parsons from The Big Bang Theory. He then goes and has breakfast with Mark and his mother and the guy dressed as a knight. Before the party, Andrew got his dad to book a doctor's appointment for his headaches. He leaves the house and goes to the doctor's. There he meets Sam, played by Natalie Portman, a hyper girl and a pathological liar. She explains that she lies for no reason and has no clue why she does that, but always admits to lying afterwards. In the meeting with the doctor, it's found out that Andrew has been on lithium and antidepressants throughout his adult life and has recently stopped taking them, and that his father, who was a psychiatrist, put him on them. He gets a scan where we see more artwork on his body with his shirt off from last night. Andrew catches Sam on the way out of the doctor's and offers her a ride on his bike. When they get back to Sam's place, Sam asks Andrew to come in and he meets her mother, who reveals to Andrew that Sam has epilepsy. Andrew and Sam go out in the backyard to bury her hamster. Andrew tells Sam about his mother's recent death, to which Sam tears up and gives a strong eulogy to her hamster. When Andrew gets home, he and his father have an argument, and the father says that they need to discuss things before he leaves. Andrew returns to Sam's house and they spend the day together. Later, both go back to his friend Jesse's mansion. Andrew brings up a story of when he was 9 years old, where he pushed his now deceased mother over a broken dishwasher in an accidental act of frustration, and why that's the reason she was wheelchair bound till her death. He says his father blames him for her being paralysed and started putting him on medication to stop any sort of anger he might have. This then leads to Andrew admitting his feelings to Sam. The next day, Mark tells Andrew that he needs to track down a going away present for him. Mark, Andrew and Sam spend the whole day looking, which leads to them ending up in the quarry. They discuss with a man named Albert, who works to guard the quarry and stop intruders. The reason why Albert and his wife live in the quarry. The reason being that it's doing something that's completely unique, that's never been done before, which is a mirror to what Sam said earlier. Albert in the end says all that really matters is that he's living with his family, which inspires Andrew, who climbs on top of a nearby crane in the rain and screams off the top of his fucking lungs into the quarry. Which then leads to all three of them nutty motherfuckers doing it all together. Andrew and Sam then end it with a kiss in the rain. How romantic, baby! Mark and Andrew look at the pre-mentioned gift and it's a pendant that Mark snatched from the grave of Andrew's mother. Andrew before leaving speaks with his father and says basically, "Fuck you cunt, I'm not to blame, suck my doodle." Nah. He says he's not to blame for his mother's accident from when he was 9 and fucks off the medication and never wants to see them again. Andrew forgives his father and wants things to become stronger between the two of them. Andrew says bye to Sam at the airport. She begs him to stay here with her. He acknowledges that she's made a massive change in his life, but he still needs to fix his personal problems before going further with their relationship, and leaves to board the plane, leaving Sam crying her guts out in the phone booth. Andrew fucks off his flight and transforms this movie into an 80s romantic comedy, with him going up to Sam and saying that he doesn't want to spend any more of his life away from her, and they share a kiss, with a nice little groovy pan out to finish it, and the end of the film. Garden State is a really nice little movie, I must say. Very touching, somewhat depressing at bits, but the comedy and the characters are bliss and overpowers the depressing bits. But they're nothing to dismiss because life can get hard at times, no matter who you are. But this movie is definitely worth a watch. It's easy, smart, witty, touching, looks beautiful and yeah,
It's a shame at this time, during his filming of Scrubs, Zach Braff could have made more movies in his prime, but had to wait another 10 years till Wish I Was Here came out, which has the same humour and emotion, but we'll talk about that another time. This movie is almost the voice of a generation in some ways. Being in your 20s, it can be a lot harder than it used to be, and this movie shows that side of how it is.
Also should mention that the soundtrack is pretty killer as well. I've got all the songs on iTunes, and Zach Braff even got a Grammy for putting together this soundtrack. So yeah, check it out, great little movie, yeah? Come on!